Hello, my little tater tots. It's Carla, and I'm here again in my kitchen, not being defensive at all about a new recipe I have developed called frozen fries, but make it fancy. That's right, folks. We are going to start with a bag of frozen fries over here, and then we are going to do some crazy to them with these 13 different spices. You're gonna go sweet, sour, salty, flavor packed, umami, and they really do all come together in a magical way. You're gonna optimize the cooking of the fry, which I have a little trick on the roasting. I worked so hard on this recipe that I had no taste buds left for like 2 to 3 or 4 days. I couldn't taste anything. So I'm working hard for you. And I think these fries are gonna work hard for everybody. So even if you have no intention on making this recipe, please keep watching the video to find out which of these 13 spices you don't have at home. I want to take a moment to say that if you don't have citric acid already in your kitchen, you're hereby commanded to like and subscribe this channel. And if you don't have buttermilk powder already, you better turn those notifications on. Today, the word of the day is the number of spices that you're going to have to go out and buy to make frozen fries, but make it fancy. So drop your number below. We would like to hear all about it. I'm telling you right now, if there's a restaurant that you love and you really love their fries, probably almost definitely that restaurant is using frozen fries and then frying them in-house, doing something cool to them, putting a little special thing on them, bringing them out in a copper cone, whatever the hell it is to make it feel fancy and worth spending money on to you. So start like a chef and get yourself some frozen fries. This is a product that is engineered. They've done all the par frying. You don't have to worry about it. This recipe is gonna make enough spice mix to cook the entire bag of fries. We're just gonna show 1 sheet tray worth, just a very thin layer of vegetable oil. I did a lot of tests with fries while I was working on the development of this recipe. And if you're interested in all the taste tests and the ranking, navigate yourself over to food processing and you can read all about it, as they say. Now we have our fries. You want your oven preheated to whatever temperature your particular brand of fries says. Ours says 425. Make sure everybody has space around them. And then again, over the top, a very spare drizzle. They've been already fried in oil, so that's all like in them. But a little bit of oil is gonna help conduct heat and they're just gonna make it taste more like fries. Okay, seasoning number 1, going down. We've got a little bit of salt on the fries so that they taste good when they come out of the oven. Say goodbye to your fries. They're just gonna do their first half. We'll check them, flip them, and then go again. All right, they're looking like fries and they're smelling like fries. The key thing for me is what's happening on the underside, the under fry, as it were. Flipping them over, yeah. So this kind of beautiful, deep, dark, golden sand color, that's what we want. I've almost doubled the roasting time on the fries. The package instructions are gonna tell you to do an amount of time that is just not adequate at all. Remember that episode where you talked about sheet pan anatomy? And for the turn, maybe scooch some of us to the outer perimeter where the darkness comes early. Also, of all of the fries, this one has already announced that it's the fanciest. Girth, you know, it's a sign of wealth. And don't you people dare make a girth joke, because I'm a mother, okay? My thinking around this was a couple of things. One thing that I was thinking was, I want it to be good. Another thing that I was thinking was tahini. Another thing that I was thinking about was like sourness as a flavor. Like that's so delicious and you only get that in some chips. Then I just started organizing my tiny little brain into categories. So the first category that's going in here is gonna be the sour category. We're gonna start with 1/2 teaspoon of citric acid. 1/4 teaspoon of amchur powder. This is dry mango powder. It's used a lot in Indian cooking. It is very tannic, I would say, and also very sour. All of these things I got at the greatest store on earth, which is called Kalustyan's, and it's in Manhattan on Lexington Avenue, and they do mail order. Next up, 2 teaspoons of gochugaru. This is a Korean chili flake. It packs lovely heat, but not an overwhelming amount of heat, and just also a lot of like fruity pepper flavor. Cayenne is more of the like hot heat, just that like it's spicy flavor you're gonna get from cayenne. 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, so like a little bit. 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika. I'm using a Spanish smoked paprika. It's like the deep and dark, like rich of spicy. We're going into what I'm calling flavor boosters. This is salt and MSG. They are essential. They work really, really well together. Also, any package of anything seasoned that you ever ripped into in your entire life had MSG in it, and that's why you can't stop eating it. So why should we cut any corners here? Now we're going sweet and tangy, baby. Buttermilk powder. I had this in my house. I went to Calusian's one day. I didn't know what I was doing. I was probably buying tea and walked out of there with 30 other things. And then one day I was like, you know what? It's gonna be a key ingredient in this recipe. It just goes to show you that like the decisions that you make in the past are going to impact your future, and you just don't know when, where, why, but you know, make it fancy. Sugar, that's a sweet thing that makes things taste sweet. So we've got tangy from the buttermilk powder. We have sweet from the sugar. Nutritional yeast, guys, I will tell you, I tried very, very hard to keep nutritional yeast out of this recipe. I was like, that's just lazy and cheap and kind of cheating. And I tasted this thing 800 million times. My taste buds were like tiny little burnt tarmac on the road, and then I made it again with nutritional yeast, and then it was fixed. You could sub onion powder for the garlic powder. Cosmo told me to take it out. He was overruled. I just think it needs that like vegetal garlic. Some days I'm a flavor booster, and some days I'm very, very sour. What category are you? Sweet and tangy? It smells tangy, it smells smoky, and it's intense. It's what you want all your food to be. It's activating. Every single salivary gland is at full attention. My fries are done. That's what you want to see. The step of the recipe where spice adhesion comes up. I have done it a lot of different ways. I've put the fries in a bowl and put the spice mix over and toss them in a bowl. I was doing the spice mix flat on a thing and kind of dipping the fries in like you would dip in a cinnamon sugar donut. At the end of the day, the best thing you could possibly do is sprinkle the spice mix directly onto the fries on the still hot tray, because the heat from the tray is gonna kind of lightly toast all of these spices, which is just gonna make them more delicious. Kind of like popcorn, a lot of the spice mix wants to bounce off the fry and onto the tray. That is its right and its duty, but you gotta scoop them back up and toss them all over again. And you can see, if you look, like the color change between the spice in the bowl and the spice on the sheet tray is like much more orangey, much more red. It's just tastier when you do it this way. If you're being fancy by yourself, treat yourself to a fancy little platter. It's sort of asking, do you want to be a fancy girl in a material world, or do you want to be like an ordinary schmo in a schmuck world? Here I am, just a regular Brooklyn girl. I'm gonna try these fancy frozen fries. My skin feels softer. That's how fancy I am. They're delicious, just the way they are. But I think what really puts them over the top is mayonnaise. Luscious. No, really, it's with the mayonnaise, something special happens. I don't know what it is. I had a lot of fears going into this recipe development. The first fear I had was no one's gonna buy all those spices. That's a credible, real fear. The other giant fear that haunted me and dogged me the entire time was, how dare I tell you guys to make something that is not even as good as sprinkling tahini on fries. So now for the first time, I am gonna enjoy tahini on fries and judge myself. Tahini, for the record, has 4 ingredients. Tahini is a magical product. I mean, what would watermelon be without it? Really, mangoes, like, stop. I think I have done a thing. I think that these fries are markedly superior to a plain sprinkle fry. Newsflash, this is my actual neighbor who loves fries. Like, if you were to judge your own personal fanciness, 10 being like, I'm super fancy, and 1 being like, I live in Schmucktown, where are you?
I would say start my day in Schmucktown, and then like I gradually go into like the real bougie phase where I'm like, Andrew, let's spend all of our money.
Are like spices a kind of thing that you would go into debt for? Like jarred spices?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so here are the 2 fries. You can just dip, you could taste, you could dip after, you could just, we don't need you to tell us what's fancier because we know, but like what tastes fancy to you?
This is great to do before a workout. Okay, to me,
yeah.
This is a fancier fry.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming by.
And then this one?
It's subjective. Fanciness is subjective. And like I did sacrifice like tens of thousands of taste buds in the development. And this one has tahini. Tahini.
I love it.
She loves tahini.
This is more like a psychological test, if anything, than...
I feel sort of psychologically undone at the moment, but it's fine.
These are definitely the higher effort fry.
There you go.
That's a higher effort fry. I'm from Orlando. Like, do you need to know anything else? Like,
oh, we should have gotten that up front.